Let's get it. Today we are talking about another Launchpad. This one is called Polkastarter, and as you may see already, this is one that I have decided to go in on. So let's go. What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Crypto Cabin. My name is Tom, and in today's video we're going to be doing a quick rundown of Polkastarter and why I decided that this was one of the Launchpads that I was going to go in on. If you're new to the channel, please scroll on down, leave this video a thumbs up, hit that subscription button, and then click that little notification bell and select all so you get notified when I post these new videos. So without any further ado, let's jump right in here. So recently I've been doing some more videos on Launchpads. I haven't posted one in a while on Launchpads specifically. I've been doing my research on a couple of them, most recently Avalanche and Polkastarter, and Avalanche is one that I went in on a little bit to play around with, but Polkastarter is the one now that I have decided to focus on a little bit more. I do still like DAO Maker. Some of the other ones that I looked at as well don't seem so bad, but I've kind of made a kind of like a tiered list here. So Card Starter and AdaPad were two that I don't think are necessarily super good yet. DAO Maker and Polkastarter are two that I kind of have on my radar as two of the better ones. I will go into reasons why here. And then the ones that are in red aren't necessarily, they're not great, they're not bad. I think maybe even pools here may be closer to the red. Maybe I'll make them orange. But the two in the yellow there I don't think are bad at all. BSC Pad and Selenium, fairly low barrier to entry on those ones still as well. Polkastarter, also very low barrier to entry here. So why did I choose to look at Polkastarter? Well, first of all, like I said, low barrier to entry. They're also helping to raise capital across multiple different blockchain networks, so you can partake in a lot of different projects there. They've had a lot of successful projects launch so far as well. They've got a few more coming up here. But when you take a look at the ones that they have launched at their all-time highs, the vast majority of them here have done quite well. When I looked through some of the projects that they have launched as well, I thought, hey, I actually remember hearing really good things about these, or I actually really like some of the projects that they've launched. So they launched Option Room. I was into that one for a little while. They launched Bridge Mutual. I was into that for a little while. Umbrella Network. Elio Trades decided to go with them for his launch of Super Farm. There's also a few others on here. Nord Finance I'm still staking and looking into as well. So there are quite a few projects that they have launched that I was like, all right. They, have launched some projects that I have liked before and have, a pretty good, or have good technology behind them anyway. Chain Guardians was another one. Polkadex, Convergence. I mean, there's a lot that they have launched that I think a lot of people have liked and or still are really into as well. Polychain Monsters. I mean, like there's quite a few here that I have, heard a lot of good things of, done some research on, and I also think are pretty good projects that they have launched. That's also, I mean, they've launched over 100 projects by now as well. So they got a pretty decent track record there. And the low barrier to entry is what I really like. They're also doing some like NFT sales as well. It's not just cryptocurrency tokens. They are doing NFTs. And so the next one, for example, is Planet Mojo here, where you get to, potentially get a whitelist spot or get first dibs on one of their NFTs. And then I think you also get access to, if you do get in and you buy one, you also get early access to 4 more NFTs. So kind of get 5 for the price of 1. And this one actually ends pretty soon here. At the time we're recording anyway, in the next day, you got just under 2 days to look into this one. But how Polkastarter works is you need to obviously buy and hold the Pols token just like you do any other launchpad. You need to buy and hold, and usually you need to stake it. So that is what you need to do. Your Pols, you don't have to stake it. Actually, you can just keep it in your either Binance Smart Chain or Ethereum wallet, your MetaMask wallet. If it's the same wallet address, it will combine Pols power, they call it. So if I had 500 of these in my Ethereum wallet and 5 of them in BNB, then it would still add up to that same 1,000 level. So as long as it's on the same wallet in your MetaMask, for example, you can have it on different chains, and that's totally fine. So first of all, you need to buy it and stake it if you want to. The staking, what that allows you to do is basically get your pulse power right away, or within like 24 hours, you'll get your pulse power. And that's what you need. You need pulse power in order to take part in any of these lottery opportunities. So once you have that pulse power, you're good to go. You can, like I said, buy it and stake it. If you do not stake it, then you just buy it and hold it in your wallet, whatever wallet you're going to have connected here. If you just buy and hold, then they'll be converted to pulse power after 7 days. So if the pulls or LP tokens are just held in your wallet, not staked like it says here, it turns into pulse power after a little while. But if you want to get that pulse power right away, that's where you would come in here, stake whatever you wanted, however much you had in your wallet that wasn't staked, click stake however much you want. You'd have to authorize the wallet and then obviously go through and click stake at that point in time. What I have found here, or what I was going through and making sure that my stuff was staked, I did find that I needed to refresh the page. After I clicked the authorize wallet, the transaction went through. It still just said authorize wallet here. It didn't say stake or anything like that. So I just refreshed the page and then I was able to stake again. So you can also withdraw after 7 days. So that's another thing that I always think is important to take a look at when you are locking up any of your crypto at a stake. Just make sure that you know what the unlock time is, if there is any. Ideally there isn't, but if there is, 7 days isn't too bad. So that's when I would be eligible to withdraw any one of these 1,000 of my Pulse tokens. And the lottery probabilities are down here. So we've got 250 pulls is the minimum, and right now it is about 57 cents. So I mean, it's even a little bit lower than that. It's just under 150 bucks. This can change obviously a little bit too. It's not 59 cents anymore, but when I put the number in, that's where it was. So under 150 bucks to gain access to some of these potential projects that have done fairly well for the most part on this Launchpad. And that will give you a 5% chance at winning the lottery. If you want to bump it up, you need at least 1,000. So that's the zone that I'm in right now. That gives me roughly a 15% chance. So this one, with just even holding 250 pulls, which is just under 150 bucks, you would on average get into 1 out of every 20 launches if you applied for every single one. I mean, you obviously maybe wouldn't want to do that. If you didn't like a certain project, you wouldn't do that. But the next level up there, 1 in 1,000, that's about, you probably get 1 every 6, 1 every 7. Then if your next level up is 3,000, you get 1 in every 3 to 4. And then 10,000, obviously you'd get into 1 out of every 2. And then the maximum level there's no guaranteed level for this one, which I think is kind of cool, because all the other projects, all the other Launchpads, there was kind of that guaranteed level where if you were in the lower percentages here, if you were a lower holder, you maybe wouldn't really have that good of a chance, because you could get a bunch of people that just got their guaranteed allocation, and then who knows what your percentage chance would actually be. So I do like that there's always 25% or so that is going to be going towards everybody else at least. And these people, they're going to win the majority of the time, obviously, the whales of the Polkastarter community here, but there is a decent amount of opportunity for everybody else as well that are, have a little bit less of an allocation. So when we take a look at, the projects that are coming up as well, usually they will have a fundraise goal here and then a max allocation that you can do. And so typically what that means is, you're staking your Polkastarter tokens. Then what you would need to do is have this max allocation extra. So it's not pulling from your Polkastarter tokens that you are staking or holding. It is just, you just get that amount in there for your lottery opportunity. So you get the chance to win this in order to, fund this project and get in on the ground floor on these things. So for example, Planet Mojo here, we have the launch, or not the launch, but the fundraise goal here coming up pretty soon. And the allow list is now open, so I can apply for this. I'll show you what would need to happen here. obviously it says I am eligible. So when you go to Planet Mojo, you can see here it is on the Polygon network. So the NFT price is $1,000. So I think it's $1,000 worth of Ethereum at the time of launch, and it's going to be on the Polygon network, so fees should be a little bit smaller. And they tell you what the launch is going to look like there. So you need to have $1,000, more than likely by the sounds of it, on the Polygon network in order to partake in this one specifically. But that's the great thing about this Launchpad in particular. It's not launching everything on just one chain specifically. There's a lot of different options in order to partake in something like this. So this is just an example. This is by no means saying you need to go out and rush to check out this project and whatnot, and you're going to miss out big time if you don't get in. That's not what I'm saying. But this is just an example, right? So it's got all the information here for you: website, white paper, Twitter, Telegram. Even when you go back to this page here about the project, there's a lot of information on this page itself of what the project is about, what they're going to do, with links to the websites, links to all of the different benefits that you could potentially be getting, why they're doing what they're doing, and then also a little bit about the token allocation and the team, investors, all that stuff as well. So they have a lot of that all in one spot here with just quick links to everything, which is awesome. Makes researching it way easier. And then, but like I said, in order to get in, here's just an example of what you would need to do. So your basic name, email address, wallet address that you would be going in with, Twitter handle, Telegram handle, just to make sure that you are a real person. So you would need Twitter and Telegram in order to do that. And then you need to make sure that you're doing all of this stuff: following, retweeting, joining their Discords and Telegram groups, Twitter, following them on Twitter, and then answering a few questions, which I think is good, because this is going to make you go and do a little bit of research about the project itself, and then obviously that's important to decide if you want to go in on anything. So it's not just necessarily people just randomly getting into these things because they think it's going to be the next hot topic or the next hot project. You actually need to go do a little bit of research at least before you get in on this. So that is another reason why I like this Launchpad a lot. And I think that, this is the one that I'm going to be playing around with a little bit at this point. Like I said, I'm in the 1,000 level, so it's still very manageable to get into that level. I think that's about just over 500 to $600 to get into the 1,000% level, or not 1,000% level, but the 1,000 Polkastarter levels. What's it called? Pulse power. So that gets you right around at 14 to 15%. So, if they do continue launching as consistently as they have in the past, there's usually been, one or two a month is, 2 a month is pretty slow. They've done 3. They did 4 in December. They did way more in December. They did a ton in December, a ton in November. So when you take a look at that, on average, I don't know if there's 4 or 5 on average per month. You could be getting, with the level that I'm at currently, if I applied for every single one, every 2 to 3 months, there could be the potential to be getting into one of these. So this is really cool. I really like what Polkastarter is doing. You can obviously learn more about the team and everything by scrolling down here to the About Us section and learn all about the team, what they're up to. Always do your own research, as always. But I think that this is the one that I'm going to be going with for the next little while here, playing around with it. And like I said, I do personally believe that getting into Launchpads, or at least researching them, learning what they're all about at this point in time, is not a bad idea, because when we take a look at the Polkastarter price, for example, you can get in way cheaper than we were way earlier. We are down over 90% on this one alone, which it is now into my green zone here, which is why I have picked some up. If it continues to go lower, maybe I buy some more. But it is obviously way easier to get into that second level, which is 1,000 for $500, $600 versus 7,000, right? So take a look at a bunch of these different launch pads, start doing your own research on them, watch some of my other videos on them, see which ones you think maybe you would enjoy or which ones you would like. But as you can see here, there's a few different ones that are quite low, have a low barrier to entry right now. BSC Pad, I don't think was BSC Pad and Solana. Those are two that I thought were still pretty decent. And then I'm also looking at Polkastarter, obviously, and that's the one that I'm into. Delmaker is kind of like the leader in the space, the crown jewel, so to speak. But Polkastarter for me right now is the next one to look at with the lowest barrier to entry and supports multiple chains. So that is it for today, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. And if you got some value out of this video, please scroll on down, leave this video a thumbs up, hit that subscription button, and then click that little notification bell and select all so you get notified for when I post these new videos. I appreciate each and every single one of you, and I will see you next time on the next episode from the Crypto Cabin.